If you've ever been triggered in a difficult conversation, you might know that it can frequently feel like a wave of electricity crashing over you. At least that's how it feels for me. One minute I feel grounded and calm, and the next thing I know, I feel electric in my mind and my body. What's so interesting about that, though, is that it usually takes one tiny little stimulus or trigger point for our brain or our body to get into that electric state. As my mom would say, there's some sort of stimulus or something that got your goat, Kate. And we have the ability to identify what that stimulus is when we zoom out from the experience, hindsight, because hindsight's 2020, right? And figure out what is the trigger for us. As we've been exploring in this most recent series of videos, sometimes the trigger does belong to that actual interaction. Maybe somebody's stampeding across a boundary that we've set, or somebody's literally gaslighting us or being mean. Other times, there's little nuances that belong to the experiences of our past. Those experiences tend to be sensory. It could be the expression on somebody's face or a tone of voice. Because you see, our brain synthesizes like data and puts it into little boxes that says, oh, hey, this reminds me of this. Therefore, there must be a pattern. And so if somebody with a certain tone of voice or even looks the same or similar facial expression shows up and engages us, and it taps into a painful experience from our past, our nervous system is not going to differentiate the past from the present. In the past couple of videos, we've talked about different exercises to help you zoom out and get really clear on what is causing your brain and your body to be triggered. And now let's do a little in vivo exercise. I'd like to invite you to find an experience where you felt like you got hijacked into a state of defensiveness or freeze, or where you noticed that you just got downright annoyed. And then rewind that experience by 15 seconds, 30 seconds, even 60 seconds. And see if you can find the moment where your brain and your body got hijacked. What was the cue to you that you are now in a state of threat? Our sweet little amygdala loves us so much, and she can overreact. She can overreact big time, for sure. And one of the main things that will make her overreact, well, actually two, is A, the past intruding into the present, or if our energy stores are so depleted that we are outside our window of tolerance and it doesn't feel like we have anything more to give. But identifying what is that straw that broke the amygdala's back can set us up for success in the future. And once we've identified that, we can, of course, do our CPR for the amygdala, or start taking proactive steps to re-regulate ourselves through breath work and self-care and yoga and thought challenging to ensure that we have the stores and the reserves that we need to identify whether or not this was a window of tolerance issue or a trigger from a past relationship stampeding into the here and now. That's where we have to pull back and say, what was the thing that flipped me over the edge? Was it a sensory cue? Did you see, hear, smell, taste, or touch something? Or was it that your system simply went too much and I'm out? They are actually quite different in terms of how they show up, even though the consequence is almost identical. The more we learn about how and why we're responding in any given moment, the more power we have to regulate our mind and our body and to create the world we want to live in. So start tuning in. Rather than feeling shame or guilt or embarrassment about moments of electric reactivity, because guess what? You're human. We all have them. Get curious. What was happening right before so that you can heal, you can change the narrative, and you can build the brain you want to live with.